The more I think about it, the more I think it's a good thing we are not getting ground vehicles in Starfield, at least at launch. If we take a look at ground vehicles in other space games, including Star Citizen or Elite Dangerous, we often see that these vehicles are not very practical, nor are they comfortable to use. One of the main reasons, I believe, is the lack of infrastructures on the planets we visit for these ground vehicles. There are just no roads, and the terrains on these planets that we can explore in those games is often chaotic. This results in a usually rather unpleasant gaming experience that quickly devolves into nausea, leaving no choice but to shut the game down and take a break from the computer. So, in the end, when I am on the planet's surface, I end up traveling on foot, even if I have to venture off for a kilometer or more. Sure, it's slower, but it's more comfortable, and I often find it more immersive, as we are fully surrounded by the alien environments we get to traverse without the protection of the hull of a vehicle. That's also why I think that Starfield's jump pack is a great compromise between traveling faster while on foot and being immersed by the environments that we'll have around us. Now, the question remains the following. Will there be any ground vehicles further down the line? I don't know, but for Bethesda to do so, they would have to figure out ways to make them relevant and enjoyable. Now the next question will be the following. What is a ground vehicle? Is it an old-fashioned vehicle with wheels, or is it a vehicle with gravlev technology, as we can see in Star Citizen? As far as I'm concerned, I do prefer gravlev vehicles over wheeled vehicles because they have the advantage of being able to pass over obstacles such as rocks or even small ravines. They're a solution to preventing the gaming experience from being too uncomfortable while still giving a way to traverse large distances. However, I really doubt that such vehicles will be in the game one day, and for a very simple reason. The game is set about 300 years in the future, and the technology that seems to be available in the game universe is, in many ways, quite similar to the technology that we have at our disposal right now in the 21st century. Technically, gravlev vehicles using perhaps fans could be possible. I mean, they already exist, but their range is rather limited, and these vehicles are usually clunky. This will be a technology that would eventually evolve into a viable one in the 24th century, or perhaps it's something that would be entirely put into oblivion. Then Bethesda would have to decide, but I do believe that they would be a great way to cross uneven terrain over large distances though. And now let's talk about wheeled vehicles, because these are the most problematic vehicles in my opinion based on the reasons previously mentioned. While they certainly look cool, they are very impractical when there are no infrastructures such as roads or even basic paths. I would say the only kind of terrain where these would make sense would be desertic terrains with few obstacles like ice, sand, or dirt, but any planet located in the habitable zone that does have a biosphere, especially if those include vegetation, is really going to be difficult to traverse with such vehicles. Now, there is another possibility that could make wheeled ground vehicles relevant, and these would be the game's cities, especially New Atlantis, and we've been told countless times now that New Atlantis is the largest city Bethesda has ever created in any of their games, and it's also rumored that the city is so large that it even features a transit system. Well, if this city is this large, then it would make sense to be able to traverse it with ground vehicles. I mean, why wouldn't the people of the 24th century have their own personal vehicles like we do right now? Maybe we could even have interesting activities to do, like driving NPCs from one point of the city to another, or maybe even take NPCs to outposts or villages not too far from New Atlantis. I think that this would be quite fun. Apart from that, I just don't see how they would be relevant. Or maybe they could be a good solution for us to transport large quantities of materials if we are far from our ships. Remember that in Starfield, weight is going to play a large role and will be limited to what we'll be able to carry with us. Perhaps a ground vehicle could be the solution to help us transport additional tools, equipment, or even resources that we would mine. But even if that's the case, Bethesda would still have to find a way to make them enjoyable to drive. Anyway, guys, these are my thoughts as of why we will not have ground vehicles at launch in Starfield. It's just too hard to implement, and in the end, I think that the gameplay possibilities are rather limited. I suppose they would make a nice DLC for those who wish to pay additional money for such content, but otherwise they would not be something that would be indispensable. With that comes the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to see more Starfield content, please do let me know with a thumbs up and a little subscription to be notified anytime a new video is up. I have been Irad. I will see you guys later. Thank you so much for watching this video.